What's going on? Junior's Fishing Company. Today we're going to do another deer hair jig. I figure that's what's kind of getting the views right now, so just go ahead and make another one. I've got a jig in here that is Scheels, just a Scheels brand. If you have a Scheels in your area, I don't know. In Minnesota, we have a bunch of them. North Dakota has got them. And, this is a 1/4 ounce swimmer head, and it's just silver, black on top. And when I was looking at this, I thought that it looked kind of like a white sucker. That's kind of just what I saw, and so I looked up images of white suckers, and you see that it's got a darker tail, but really the thing I'm going to focus on today is just the top is all black and the bottom is super white. So I'm actually going to tie this with a stack of black, stack of white, stack of black, stack of white. So I'm going to do white in the blacks that I've got. I've got just a little bit of there's a little in just at least this one, maybe the other one doesn't have any either. Just a little bit of olive and a little light brown. I've caught a couple of these in the winter at my cabin, and in the winter the water's so clear they're really like white and black, or super silvery. So that's what I'm going for. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to do just a little strip, little lateral scale strip, kind of separating the colors. And I'm actually going to put, I have these tiny rattles. They don't make a ton of noise, but I have so much room on this hook shank anyway. I'm going to put, after I put down my base layer, I'm going to put a little rattle. I'll fast forward through some of it. I want to keep this one short because it's a pretty simple, just a really simple pattern to tie. The first thing I'm going to do is put down my tail, right? The tails are typically a little bit darker than most of the body. So I've got some like gray, black, and olive. And I want this bait to be, I was going to have it be about 5 inches. And that's what I've laid this one out to. So got my hair, and this one I'm going to wrap all the way around, and I'm actually going to come down a little bit. I'm going to wrap this one all the way around my hook, and this will be the only one I do that with. And then I'm going to put my rattle on top of that. These sucker patterns. These fish get pretty big, but you always want to remember it's going to swim this way. I'm not going to put a ton of flash, just that lateral scale. Put down just a little head cement. And then I'll probably end up fast forwarding, putting this rattle on. I might end up doing a couple, some of, not that, I'm reinventing the wheel or anything, but there's a couple techniques when you're tying with a jig head that are a little bit different than traditional tying. So I might do some just things that I do short. I hate to even say how-tos because I am by no means, Tim Flagler. So, but got my first deer hair down. I want to get some room for my rattle that I'm going to put right here, right on the back. Alright, so glue's dry. Got my tail in. Now I have white and black. I'm going to put the white on first just because this is how the hook is sitting. I'm going to try and keep it as much as I can on top, and then I'm going to put my black on bottom. And there's a little bit of light brown in here, just a hint. I just want to make sure, try and get this stacked. It's pretty light, doesn't want to stack. I want to leave enough for that that tail to kind of stay poking out. And these are just, you almost want to go super thin because you're doubling these up. Before I move that too much, I'm going to get my black on there, and I just want it to be the same length ish as my white. And on this wrap I'm just gonna have to be mindful of my hook. Could almost split these, but I'll just do this. Now I've got 2 wraps on there. I'm going to try and split this hair first. I've just got super light pressure with my left hand. And I'm just going to push down. I'm going to hold my butts so they don't move. And again, this isn't going to be perfect because I'm not some crazy skilled tire, but I just want it to be enough where it's obvious that I tried to do it. Alright, that first stack's on. I just went ahead and cut these other ones in about half because I want it to sit right on top, and it was starting to roll. Just a little bit shorter. I don't need to go too much shorter because I'm not really worried about a huge taper here. Get that right on top. Just keep that right there. We just give it a couple more secure wraps, and then I'll take my black. Again, this is crappie colors too, so you can kind of call it how you see it. But those shiners and suckers and I thought about doing silver, trying to get a silver in the middle hair, but I thought these lateral scales, because then I thought, well, what am I going to use for flash? There's a lot of flare in this hair, which is fine. That's too much. Careful. I'm gonna have to move some of this on the side. Okay, stack number 2. Now I'm going to put my lateral scale on before I do my last stack. And this lateral scale, I mean, literally, I'm using one strip because this stuff is thick. It's really thick, and it's pretty sturdy. It's wavy and it's really shiny, and so I'm not really going to need a ton. I'm going to really kind of put it in almost full length right on the side. Then I'll get this one. I can always pull these out when they're in and trim them. Just right on the side. When I'm just sitting straight right there. Wrap those in and then just trim. Alright, new battery in. So I've got 2 more. I've got 1 white and 1 black left. I got my flash down. And lateral scale looks just like, comes in a bag just like holographic flash glue. It's by Hedron, which is just down the road from where I live. So I'm going to put my last 2 in. Now this is where it's going to be a lot of fun because these last stacks I want to keep thick, but they're going to be super airy. It's not going to be the most fun I've ever... We'll see how it goes. So I've got my white. I'm going to come all the way up. Two wraps. Keep that as much on there as I can. And then get my black on there. A couple long ones in here. This is black's a little bit thinner. It's a weird tail. I almost had a freak out. I was like, wait, all my black's on top, but it should be. Go right to the head. Cord up your thread. Okay. Now I want to make sure I'm holding as much as I can, because this is where my flare is going to be. And again, it doesn't have to be 1000% perfect, because the only one that's going to notice it is you. And I'm not putting this in a glass case on the wall, so it doesn't have to be perfect unless you want it to be. Then start over. I would have started over already, so some of that white on this side. So I want to get a couple tight wraps before I trim this head. A lot of flare in there. Hold these. Make sure I'm working towards the head, not away. And these were a little bit thinner, I guess. So they're staying kind of where I want them to. Just give it a few more tight wraps. Hopefully that black, yeah, that black's working on the side a little bit on me, but doesn't look too bad. Maybe one more. Now I'm going to trim. So I trapped a couple up there. So now I'll work back just with one loose wrap. Get my trusty razor blade. If you've seen any of the videos before, you know exactly what I'm going to do. Now I've got... I almost just used red thread because I'd be able to see a little bit, but I just went with black, so that when you're trimming this black thread on this black hair, you just got to be super careful. And even get like a... You can hold a light with your phone. You'll probably see me do that. I'll fast forward through this, but I'm going to end up grabbing my phone and putting my flashlight on so I can see when I'm getting in there. I'm not going to necessarily hit my thread. And this isn't the most expensive jig in the world, so... But the back of this is actually kind of just lead, so you're not going to chip a ton of paint. Alright, trimmed up. Collar's a little bit bigger than I normally would like it, but that's alright. Just gonna do a little half hitch, maybe 2 right behind the lead, and then I'll put down some head cement. Gosh, it's getting to be a new season when all of my scissors are dull, but I don't like to use really good scissors on summer stuff because you really don't need that super close trim like you do on a size 16 fill in the blank. So I'll get some, looks like it's time to order a couple new scissors for the winter. I don't know if I'm going to put eyes on here. I don't think I have any eyes down here. So that's the way it goes. Junior's Fishing Company. Little bit of a white belly, black top, silver side, sucker pattern. They have a little brown in the fin, so I put a little brown kind of in that back tail. That silver is really going to flash quite a bit. This lateral scale stuff is crazy flashy. Simple pattern, probably I made it a lot harder than it had to be. Junior's Fishing Company on Instagram, juniorsfishing.com. And yeah, maybe another deer hair or two, and then I'm coloring up some musky baits with some paint, and I'll do one of those. Thanks for watching me struggle. We'll see you again soon.